Here we have three different types of spirit. On the left, 33.143, titled Thank You and Good Night, which is actually an Ardbeg 8-year-old single cask, single malt whiskey, matured exclusively in ex-sherry casks. In the middle we have Glenalba, 34-year-old sherry cask finished blended whiskey from the esteemed Lidl collection of 2015. And then you can just see at the back right, Kingsbarns Spirit Drink, which is effectively new make, which I've poured into the glass on the right hand side. As you can see, the colours vary wildly. So going from the right this time, we have extremely clear, straight off the still, fresh as anything, new make spirit. In the middle, quite a deep colour, which we'd suggest finish it in sherry casks, adding that colour to otherwise bourbon maturation. And on the left you have the Ardbeg, which is quite a lot deeper than you'd expect from your typical Ardbegs because of that sherry maturation. There's been a lot of talk in the whiskey industry about different ways of colouring whiskey, and you are in fact allowed to colour whiskey as long as you only use one type of colour, which is called a caramel colouring, and this caramel colouring comes in bottles just like this, filtered. So what is the purpose of this caramel colouring? Well, historically it was to give the impression that a whiskey is either older or more premium than it was. And the reason that the actual E number is allowed within the whiskey industry is because it shouldn't alter flavour nor taste. Now, I appreciate that you watching this will not be able to understand the difference in taste, but you will be able to understand the difference in colour. So what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of this caramel colouring to our new make here from the Kingsbarns distillery, and an incredibly small amount, hopefully. That might still be a little bit too much, but if you look at the glass already, look at the colour that it is exuding here. And we'll just zoom in on it whilst it's working with the new make to completely change colour into a whiskey that is still relatively darker than the Glenalba there, but still giving it the perception of being potentially a more premium, a more aged and better finished whiskey. Now, and granted you won't be able to taste this right now anyway, but there is a really defined caramel taste. And before, I mean, the new make from Kingsbarns, I've spoken about it a lot before, but it's fresh, it's grassy, it's really clean spirit, and you add just a hint of this caramel colouring, and now you've got a whiskey that you've got a spirit drink that not only looks like a mature whiskey that has spent, you know, a couple of decades in sherry casks, for example, but you've got something that is a completely different flavour profile to what it started out as. Granted, this is not a scientific test. I mean, I'm sure the people who do use caramel colouring have at least some charts and some measurements and all of those kind of things to make sure they get the right level of the stuff in the whiskies to produce that really consistent colour, which is what they're looking for when they use it. They're not there to alter taste in any stretch of the imagination, but they are looking for consistent colour. But the question we've got to ask ourselves is, by doing that, A, are they deceiving you, the consumer, and the public at large, and B, are they misrepresenting what good whiskey looks and smells like? I've been Greg from GreatDrams. Look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.